Cool. There we go. Okay, so today we are talking about writing with focus. And truthfully, like this is the most important this is the most important thing I can tell you, and I'm telling it to you today. So happy Friday, everyone. This is really, like I call it the secret to a sustainable writing system. I'm putting it on the internet, so it's not going to be secret for much longer, but I hope that you enjoy this short presentation that I'm going to give. Okay, so there's a picture of me with baby. I'm Kathy. This is the first time you're seeing me, hi. I'm glad that you came to this online live stream workshop today. That's me with baby number 3. I'm a mom of 3. I have an 11-year-old and 8-year-old, and that baby is now 3, but the joke in our house is that we're always going to call her the baby. So we're always going to call, even though she's 3, we still call her the baby, and we are going to continue to do that, and it's our family joke. We're going to be like, the baby graduated from her master's program today. Okay, and I'm a full-time tenured professor at the University of Puerto Rico in Mayagüez. So that's actually a picture taken at my house, and you can see a little slice of ocean back there. Before we start, I would love to have your full attention. So I know we're on Facebook and it's distraction-y, but if you are tuned in, I would love to just get your close your other tabs, turn off your phone, or at least turn it over. And the reason I say this is because you deserve to concentrate on your writing, okay? Here it says for 1 hour. I don't think we'll be an hour. I think we'll be about between 20 and 30 minutes with questions today. But you deserve that time, and so does your writing. So please stick around to the end of my little presentation. I'm going to give you everything I've got in the time we have, and then at the end, I'm going to let you know where to go if you want more help. So first, I want to ask you this question. Does this sound like you? And you can tell me in the comments. You keep waiting for big blocks of writing time that never come. So let me know in the comments if that's like one of your ways of dealing with your writing, as you're waiting for the big blocks of writing time. I'm watching the comments. They won't necessarily show me the comments. Anyway, you can be commenting because the next one's good too. Does this sound like you? Maybe you had great advisors, but no one ever taught you to write for academic publication while doing a million other things, right? So the thing is, it's not just that you're writing for academic publication. You kind of learn how to do that, during your dissertation. But I think the bigger challenge is writing and then doing all the other things that you have to do as a tenured professor, or a tenure track professor, or even, or especially I think as a non-tenure track professor, all the ways that you're kind of putting your job together. And who has time to write during that, doing all those things? Oh, thank you, Elizabeth. Amy says, no one ever mentioned me on writing for publication ever. Amy, I hear you, and you are not alone in that. That is, I think, really the norm and not the exception. Stephanie says, I'll claim this one. Okay. So I want to know, is this the voice in your head? My to-do list never ends, and so I never find time to write. So if that sounds like you, go ahead and tell me in the comments. Or I know I need to publish so that I can get the job or tenure or promotion, but with all the teaching and committee work, it just keeps getting pushed to the bottom of the list. This is my favorite one, the bottom of the list thing, right? Yes, says Elizabeth. Sarah's agreeing with Amy. Elizabeth says, this sounds familiar. Shauna says, amen. Yes, right? This is a problem that I hope is going to be solved by the method I'm going to teach you today. And then another one, and this one makes me sad. I can never relax because I could always be working. So even if you work in a lab, you could be writing your papers on your laptop at home, right? So it's like all the time. It's possible for you to be working and the work's never done. So it's really hard to relax or just really enjoy being with your family or by yourself or with your partner, relaxing, because you could always be, maybe you're always thinking I should be writing, right? Hi, Devarati. And Amy says, yes. Amy says, Kathy, this is inside my head. Yes, I'm inside your head. Okay, so you're in the right place today if you want to be able to write consistently without feeling guilty when you're not writing, because that stinks. We don't want that. We don't want to feel like somebody in the group, I'm sorry if I'm forgetting who it is, but somebody in the I Should Be Writing group said, I feel like I should be writing even when I'm actually writing. like that is so programmed inside of her head. Okay, you're also in the right place if you're ready to kind of design a reliable system to get your writing done, but you know that like one size fits all or what everybody else is teaching maybe hasn't worked for you yet. And you're in the right place if you want to feel like you're in charge of your writing instead of the other way around. And that's really what I want for you, is I want you, you know, writing is so much, it's mostly about how you feel. So I want you to feel in charge of your writing. Okay, so what you're going to learn today, 3 things. One is how to eliminate guilt and overwhelm around your writing practice. 2 is how to write more in less time, and I'm not kidding when I say that. And number 3, the number 1 secret to writing sustainability. So first, just a tiny bit about myself. That's me in my office, this office where I am. I'm, like I said, I'm a tenured professor now, but when I started out, I came actually right out of my PhD into my dream job, which was here. My husband is also a professor here, and we got, it took us a couple years, but we both got tenure track jobs, which was really amazing. I was teaching the students that I loved. I'm teaching the topic that I love. I'm in ESL. I started on ESL and I moved kind of more towards bilingualism studies. But I was like, I had just actually written my dissertation, which I absolutely loved my dissertation. I was a Spencer Dissertation Fellow. It was so awesome, that experience. And then I started the dream job and I was like, whoa, what is this? Like teaching all these students, new preps all over the place, dealing with all the committee work, and our place doesn't really protect junior faculty in any way. So it was really, really shocking. And my beautiful dissertation that I love so much was just sitting there. It was just sitting there, and it drove me nuts. And I never could figure out how to find time to write until I had baby number 1. And so that's when I developed this way of writing that I'm going to teach you about today. So what I want you to feel about your writing is confident, calm, and collected. I want you to feel in control. I want you to feel on top of things. I don't want you to feel pulled in 1,000 directions, even though you are pulled in 1,000 directions. So let's get started. So I'm going to introduce you to this concept of tiger time. So if you signed up for this back to school writing challenge, I sent you about an hour and a half ago a email, and it has a little handout in it, which you can follow along with your handout, or you can use later. I'm going to show you the handout here. Amy says, protect junior faculty. What's that? And hi, Olga. Okay, so tiger time is a term that I borrowed from entrepreneur Amy Porterfield. And she uses it to talk about just kind of like as a term for the time of day where you have the most energy, focus, and drive. So the underlying principle here of using tiger time for writing is that you don't have to write all the time. In fact, writing all the time backfires. And maybe you've experienced this, where you're trying to sustain momentum. If you ever get those big blocks of time, you're trying to sustain your momentum through them, but you can't. And so you end up just feeling frustrated with your writing. So the idea here is that you're going to use your most focused, energized hours of the day for writing, and you're going to do small, focused, consistent writing sessions. So by small, I mean 1 hour to 2 hours. not longer than 2 hours. Focused, because you're going to be using your tiger time, which I'll explain more in a second. And consistent. So by consistent, I mean, I want you to start with 1 hour of consistent tiger time writing a week. And I want you to build to 3, and then really anything beyond that is a bonus. Like, and I'm not kidding, like maybe 6, but upwards of 6, you don't need if you're using your tiger time. So my question for you, and some of you have already answered it right, is do you suffer from guilt and overwhelm? Like if you feel guilty when you're not writing and overwhelmed at all the things you have to do, implementing this system is really gonna, I hope, give it a try, help you. All right, so again, the underlying principles here are that working 24/7 is not the answer, but instead working at your best capacity for a reasonable amount of time consistently is the answer. Okay, so I don't want you working on nights. I don't want you working on weekends unless you want to, you know. But even on weekends, I don't want you doing hours and hours of work. I want you to, if you choose to write on weekends, to use your tiger time wisely and write for 1 or 2 hours, and that's it. All right, another big idea here is trying to write during your worst time is a waste of time, okay? So trudging through writing while you feel tired, unfocused, and blah is actually gonna be bad for your writing. It's not neutral, it's bad. Because what happens is you create a negative feedback loop between you and your writing. And what we're always trying to do is create positive feedback loops between you and your writing. So that's why trying to write during your worst times is a waste of time, okay? So again, we are taking advantage of focus, clarity, and energy. Okay, so how to find your tiger time. In the handout that I sent to your email, there's this little tiger time journal. And the idea here is, oh my goodness, the idea here is that for 3 to 5 days, I want you to just reflect on and kind of be aware of your energy level at different times. So you know how you have had writing sessions where you sit down and things just flow, and you write and write and everything flows out and it feels kind of effortless, compared to sessions where you write 7 words and delete 5, and write 5 and delete 3. So what we're trying to do is set you up to have sessions where you have focus and flow. So I want you to start by just being aware at the different times of day and how your focus shifts. So I want you to use a little system for labeling the hours of the day. I want you to use a green marker or pencil or something to identify the most energetic hours of your day where you have inspiration, you feel like you have drive, like where you feel things firing. I want you to use blue to identify hours where you need to take breaks to sustain momentum, but things are still flowing. I want you to use orange to mark the hours where you feel distracted, bored, tired, or procrastinating. And I want you to mark in red any hours that you feel like completely exhausted and there's no way that you're getting anything done. All right, so you're going to go through this little journal, marking those things, you know, for 3 up to 5 days. And then you'll have identified the times where you have the times of day where you have the most energy. So I want you to write them down in your handout. So the green and blue times are contenders for tiger time, and the orange and red times are times to actually avoid writing. Like, I don't want you writing during those times. So how to implement this? What you're going to do is you've identified the time of day when you have the most energy, focus, and drive. And what you're going to do is block that time off on your calendar. So this means, you know, up to 2 hours a day. Start with 1 hour. If you need to break it up, a half an hour in the morning, a half an hour later, that's okay. Although I prefer to use hour blocks because when you have energy and you can write for an hour. So be realistic, be consistent, start small with 1 or 2 hours in the week, but actually block it off on your calendar. And so what I mean by that is it becomes an appointment with you and your writing. People can't schedule meetings during that time. No, you can't just, meet with the student who has an urgent question. No, you can't, because that is your writing time. You need to align your tiger time with your life, which means that you might need to try to shift some things that you're doing so that you can free up your tiger time. That means you might need to reschedule something. Get creative. Maybe you're giving class during your tiger time. You can't do it so you can't hit your tiger time, your green times this semester. You can schedule some blue times, and then for next semester, you need to make sure to get, to ask for your schedule to be outside of your classes to be given at some time that's not your tiger time. Be diligent and serious about this and really listen to your energy. So Shauna made a comment. She said, my tiger time is great. I can't actually seem to stick to it. So that's part of the problem. Yes. So yeah, I mean, this is about discipline. And this is why, when I teach about tiger time, I usually teach about it in the context of, like, Shauna took a workshop with me, and I also have a course that has other pieces to it. So it helps if you've also pared down your schedule a lot so that you've taught yourself how to say no. You have your academic mission statement there, so you know that when things start pulling at you, read your mission statement, be like, what am I doing and why am I here? Oh, right, it's because I need to make this change in my field or do X, Y, and Z. And that those are like choices that we make and disciplines that we kind of enact that take some time to implement. I mean, give yourself a little break too, Shauna, but like this is something you need to practice doing, right? Amy says, motherhood changed my tiger time. If there's okay, I'm going to talk about that one exactly, Amy. So I have 2 other methods of getting focused besides tiger time that I'm going to talk to you about. Yes, it is hard. Elizabeth says, I try to pick the times that are more tiger-like when I get more sleep. Yeah. Sleep is a big factor in tiger time, but I got 2 other things up my sleeve I'm going to tell you about in a second. So yay, we're here. What if you can't find your tiger time? Okay, so the best alternative to tiger time is co-writing. All right, so I really want you to try the tiger time idea, but I do have a lot of moms tell me, I can't, I don't know what focus means because I'm not getting enough sleep, and or I'm breastfeeding, or I'm pregnant, or whatever. You're going through something, and I can't find my tiger time because I don't have any focus anymore. Okay, so how do we artificially create focus? Well, one way is by co-writing. And Shauna, this also solves one of your problems of like honoring that time, because if you, I know you do co-writing. So when you make an appointment with somebody else to do writing together, it also then it feels like a real appointment. So this is another way to like trick yourself into honoring your writing time, is by doing co-writing with somebody. And I don't mean like these nice ladies here are doing their co-writing, actually writing on the same computer, but this is just a stock image to represent co-writing. You can do it by, meeting up with a friend and writing together in a coffee shop, or find a room on campus or a cubicle in the library and write, sit there next to each other and write for an hour. You can do it virtually using Zoom or FaceTime or anything like that, where you just set up your phone there with FaceTime on it and write. Okay, so what this does for you is it kind of like artificially or creates focus. So because there's another person there, or it could be a small group of people, right? That that creates focus, and it makes you keep your butt in the seat. And there's also something like you kind of get the energy from the other person. And so I am not a person who ever writes at night, but I've been starting to do co-writing at an evening time at 6 o'clock, and I was shocked and just totally, this is what convinced me about co-writing, because I was actually able to write at 6 o'clock at night, which is not like my Tiger Time in any sense. So one alternative to Tiger Time is co-writing. Another alternative, if like you can't do co-writing and you can't do Tiger Time, then what I want you to do is first thing in the morning. And I actually, not first thing in the morning, first thing in your working morning. Okay, so the first work task that you do during the day. So you come to work, you sit in your desk, you do not open email. The first thing you do is write for an hour. And you don't have to do it every day. I'm really talking about doing that once or twice a week to start out. 1 to 2 hours a week to start. So if you can't find your Tiger Time, if you don't have somebody to co-write with, then your last resort is just do it first thing in the morning, once or twice a week. Okay, I'm going to read some comments. Jana says, co-writing is like the best trick ever. Yes. Devarati says the collective has two. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Amy says, but co-writing can be dangerous when you end up catching up because sometimes it's the only time you really get to see the other adult. Yeah. So I'm going to talk in a second about how we do co-writing in the Academic Women's Writing Collective, but we mute ourselves. Like everybody knows. And then like once you establish like the ground rules, it's fine. So that's why even sometimes I think that like online co-writing is better than in person because of that, exactly that, Amy, right? That you kind of start like talking and seeing each other and it becomes social. You have to establish ground rules. And that actually happened, like I run a writing retreat, and the first couple days of the writing retreat, I had to like tell people to be quiet because even though it was a room full of women who had never met each other before, we had so much in common that we kind of wanted to talk, and we had to like say, okay, this is quiet time starting now. And that is definitely something about co-writing that you have to be aware of. Yes, Sarah asked a question about the Academic Women's Writing Collective. Can we have a chat for anyone to pop into? We can, and I can set it up, Sarah. So yes. Stephanie says this is Amy. Hi, Amy. Sorry, somebody's logged into somebody else. How come all these women in the stock pictures look so pretty? Because they're stock photo pictures. Isn't her hair great? She's wearing my same denim jacket. Okay. So, big takeaways. It is just as important to decide when you're not writing as when you are writing. Okay, so this has to go with the guilt thing. Like, I don't want you to feel guilty when you're not writing. I want you to have times in your schedule that you write. You write during those times and you're free like of that writing guilt the rest of the time. Okay, so the result of writing with focus. So by either using Tiger Time, co-writing, or first thing in the morning to write with focus is a sustainable system. Okay, so you may have heard me talk before about writing every day. If you write every day, I feel so happy for you. And I want you to keep doing it. But writing every day never worked for me. And especially writing every day just to write, like just to say that you did it. I don't have time for that. I need to use my best focus time for writing and not just write to write if I'm writing garbage. For me, that's not what has worked. What has worked for me is finding focus times, being religious about blocking them on my calendar and honoring them because I honor myself. Like, okay, so because I feel like I have something to contribute to the world and I need to keep my job and things need to get out, my voice needs to get out there, that's why I write. And I have that very, very centered perspective on the writing. So you can also, when you write with focus, you write more in less time. So everyday writing means lots of editing. Again, it's a different system. It's another way to approach it. It's totally fine. But for me, I like the idea of being like super efficient with my writing. So write more in less time. And then you can also like work within your packed schedule. So you can figure out, you know, how to schedule out. Like we talked about the ideal calendar earlier this week, writing needs to be part of that ideal calendar, and then you work the other things around it. So I give you permission to write during your tiger time and to let the other writing times go. Okay? So I give you permission to let go of that writing guilt. So just to recap what we've talked about so far, today you learned how to eliminate guilt and overwhelm around your writing practice by writing with focus, how to write more in less time because you're writing with focus, and how to, and the number one secret to writing sustainability, because really like a writing everyday system to me isn't sustainable. Like I can sustain it for a certain amount of time, but it's not a forever system. And I hope that this is a forever system. So you can let me know your biggest takeaway in the chat as I'm finishing up the presentation. So you came here today and you participated in the Back to School Writing Challenge because you are ready to write and publish more. Remember, like I'm doing this method with my packed schedule and 3 kiddos, so you can absolutely do it. So I want to first just want to thank everybody who participated in the Back to School Writing Challenge. And I also want to say, like, it's your time to experience focus, clarity, and confidence about your writing. That's what I want for you. And that's what I hope this week's lessons and activities helped you set up for yourself this year. It's also your time to experience more publications because you have the support you need to get your writing done. And it's time to stop feeling frazzled, overwhelmed, and guilty about never getting to your writing projects and never being truly present in your off time. It's your time to write more with the support of a community of like-minded women. So I want to introduce to you the Academic Women's Writing Collective. And many of the women who have been on this training are members of the Academic Women's Writing Collective. It only opened in July, so it is new, but it is rapidly growing and really has become this like totally amazing thing. Let me just look into the comments here for a second. Shauna says her big takeaway is I need to block it off. Adriana says, thank you for taking away the pressure of writing every day. Yay, exactly. Don't feel like a failure. You're not a failure. Yes. All right. So the Academic Women's Writing Collective has, right now, it has these 4 parts to it, but more parts are going to be added as we grow. So one thing we do in the collective is we have a monthly take action workshop where I teach a short lesson, like about a 20 to 30-minute lesson, and then we have a Q&A session. The first month of the collective, because it's only really been around for a month, was about co-writing. And I'm going to show you some of the feedback I got about that workshop. But basically what happens is like I hear kind of what people are talking about in the community, and I'm like, oh, I need to create some kind of training about that, and then I create the training. The next one is going to be about how to set writing goals. Okay. The second thing we have, and this is the awesome part, the weekly co-writing sessions. So as somebody put in the comments, we on Mondays, right now, on Mondays, we have co-writing sessions at 9 Eastern Standard, 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern Standard. And with those 2 times, we basically can cover the globe. There's people from all over the world in the writing collective, including Australia, including Eastern Europe, Western Europe, all over the States, Colombia, different places in the world. And so we're always doing things twice to cover the time zones. In addition to our co-writing sessions, our weekly ones, there's other people in the group creating more co-writing sessions. And it was Sarah, right, who just asked if we could have, I'm going to explain to you in a second, like how we do the writing collective. We use a system called Mighty Networks, and we could have a running chat just of people who are writing, and people could just come in and check in. But the way we do co-writing in the Academic Women's Writing Collective is that we get on Zoom, like I'm on Zoom with you right now, and we mute ourselves, and you can see everybody's little face writing, their little heads as they're working on their computers. Some people turn off their video, which is also totally fine. And I just put in the chat, like, what are you working on? People comment what they're working on. And at the end of the hour, I say, how did it go? And people say what they accomplished. And we all say, good job to each other, which is part of it. The other part of the collective is once a semester, we're going to do a day-long virtual retreat. So I still need to put it on the calendar for this coming semester, but basically we take a Friday, excuse me, and we have like a virtual retreat where we could be co-writing all day. Yay. And then we also have this amazing online community for goals and accountability. And I can show you actually the inside of it here since I'm screen sharing. It's not on Facebook, okay, which is an important thing. When I asked people what they wanted, they said, don't put it on Facebook. It's not on Facebook. It's its own thing. There's an app. It's really cool. And something else that we just started doing was making accountability partners. So we actually have curated accountability partners. Curated means Kathy read all the applications for accountability partners and tried to play matchmaker. So everybody got a little accountability partner that was handpicked for them. Okay. Oh, Shauna says, the collective is seriously amazing. Yay. Krista says, nice, writing goals. Yes, so important. Okay, whoops, sorry, made you dizzy there. Okay, next slide. So here's what somebody said about the Academic Women's Writing Collective. I'm so glad I signed up to be part of the Writing Collective. I'm so excited to see what other tips and tricks I learned from you and the other lovely ladies involved. So that was an email that I just spontaneously got from somebody, which was really nice. And here's somebody who posted inside the collective about co-writing. And this person said, my first time was fabulous. I got so much done. I will never stop thanking you, Kathy, for this. Love this community and the writer it will help me become. Such a wonderful testimonial and so excited. So basically what you get when you join the Academic Women's Writing Collective, it's kind of like a two-part thing. One part of it is like the static part, and that's inside of Teachable, and this is what it looks like. There's lessons about how to, there's like all the things like how to join, what to do, how to get a writing partner, how to use the system, blah, blah, blah. And then also we have a library of recorded calls and bonus material. So when there's like a question that people ask a lot, I'll be like, oh, I have a webinar about that, and I'll put it there as bonus material. So there's a lot of like bonus content that you can see. And all of our calls, not the co-writing calls, but the workshop calls, the monthly workshop calls are recorded and put in there with their handouts as like a little library. Yes, Olga, you get a partner too. Yes, Olga. So if you haven't done the survey so you can get a partner, you need to do the survey. We assign partners once a month. So you can get into the September round of partners. Okay. And also, you don't have to have a partner. It was just for people who want a partner. Okay. So you also get this access to the Mighty Network, which is our like online community for the Writing Collective. It has, we have different topics like writing mindset, balancing quote unquote everything, handling writing criticism. You can see all the members. We post the events there so you can see where things go. People are kind of tagged like you see in here. People are tagged with their fields. People decide what their fields are when they come into the collective. And so when you see the person's little face, you always see their field so you can connect with people in your field of study. And we got people from all different kinds of fields of study, like really diverse. But what you'll achieve is you'll feel confident and in control of your career, have the support you need to manage your day-to-day tasks, and help write and publish more with the help of community and connection, right? She's so happy. Look at